just getting consumed by revenge. Where does one end and the other begin?
It's a razor's edge, isn't it? And it's a question that crops up again and again in stories.
Exactly. And today, we are diving deep into maybe the most iconic story about that very struggle, Alexandre Dumas's classic, The Count of Monte Cristo.
A truly timeless piece of literature.
Right. So this deep dive, it's designed to be your shortcut. We want to give you a really clear path through the complex plot, the key characters, the big themes. We've dug into the source material, pulled out the core insights, so hopefully you'll walk away with those aha moments we're always aiming for.
Yeah, those moments of clarity.
Okay, let's unpack this incredible, sprawling story.
Well, what's fascinating here, I think, is how Dumas blends this huge adventure story with some really deep psychological insights. It's quite something.
Oh, absolutely.
And that balance, that's probably why it still hits home for so many readers, across different generations and cultures. It makes it a real global classic.
It totally does. And the author himself, Alexandre Dumas. Wow. What a character.
A literary force of nature, truly.
Yeah, incredibly prolific French writer. I mean, the guy gave us some of the most enduring adventure stories ever written. Stuff that still feels so alive today.
Absolutely. And Monte Cristo, specifically, it was written, mid-19th century, serialized between 1844 and 46.
Right.
But the story itself, it throws us back earlier into a really turbulent time in France. We're talking Napoleon's final defeat, his comeback from exile, that whole period.
Yeah, massive upheaval.
And that backdrop, the political chaos, the shifting loyalties, it's not just window dressing. It's absolutely crucial for understanding why the characters do what they do. The stakes were incredibly high.
Okay, so we've got this rich historical context set up. Let's get into the story itself. Now, for anyone listening who hasn't read it yet, we'll try to keep the big twists under wraps. So where does it all kick off for our hero, Edmond Dantès?
Well, at its heart, the novel starts with this terrible injustice against Edmond Dantès. He's young, he's innocent, full of promise.
That's totally blindsided.
Completely. And from that point, the book just meticulously tracks his escape, which is miraculous in itself, his transformation. And then this incredibly elaborate, decades-long quest to settle the score, to right the wrongs done to him.
It really is an epic journey. The sheer scope is amazing.
It unfolds over such a huge time scale.
And that scale, that's part of Dumas' genius with the structure, isn't it? It doesn't just feel long, it feels perfectly paced somehow.
Precisely. The way he builds the tension layer by layer, weaving together all these intricate plot threads and letting it all unfold over so much time, that's what keeps readers completely glued to the page. Every reveal, every twist, it feels earned, it feels necessary to the whole design.
It's like he's a master making you wait for it.
Totally. Delayed gratification. He plants these little seeds early on, things that don't seem important.
Yeah.
And then, boom, they explode into massive plot points much, much later, like even the Count's identity itself.
That slow burn makes it so satisfying when it finally pays off. And of course, a plot this intricate needs strong characters. So who are the main players we need to know? What really drives them?
Okay, well, right at the center, you've got Edmond Dantès. He starts out as this really hopeful, almost naive young sailor. Life looks good.
Full of potential.
Exactly. Then he goes through this unimaginable suffering in prison. And that suffering just completely reshapes him into the Count of Monte Cristo. Mysterious, powerful, incredibly intelligent. His transformation is just breathtaking.
It really is. And who else is caught up in his story?
Well, there's Mercedes, his fiancée. Her life gets tragically tangled up with his, obviously. Their connection faces these immense tests.
A key figure.
Definitely. And then you have the ones responsible for his downfall. Fernand Mondego, he's driven by jealousy over Mercedes.
Right.
Danglars, the shipmate, he's purely envious and calculating, sees a chance to get ahead.
And opportunistic.
Very. And Villefort, the ambitious prosecutor, his own secrets end up tying his fate tragically to Dantès' past. He tries to bury it.
And there's one more crucial figure from his time in prison, right?
Yes, Abbé Faria, absolutely pivotal. The wise old mentor figure he meets in the Chateau d'If. Faria is the one who educates Dantès, teaches him everything, languages, science, economics.
He basically gives him the tools.
Exactly. The tools and the key to a hidden fortune. Faria provides the knowledge, the means, and really the intellectual framework for everything Dantès does later.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture,
yeah,
like you said, these characters aren't just moving the plot along. They're essential, right?
Oh, absolutely essential. Fernand, Danglars, Villefort, they're not just bad guys. They embody the betrayal, the ambition, the corruption that kickstart Dantès' whole transformation. They represent the rot he sees in society.
And Mercedes.
Mercedes represents loss, maybe the enduring power of love, or perhaps the human connections that even this incredibly detailed revenge plan can't completely sever. She's that link to his past self.
The human cost.
Yes. And Abbé Faria, he's really the architect of the Count intellectually and philosophically. He gives Dantès the power, the knowledge, the wisdom, and crucially, the money that makes the whole elaborate scheme even possible. Their actions, all of them, they drive the plot and bring the novel's big themes roaring to life.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. These characters, their choices, their fates. They let Dumas explore some incredibly deep stuff. What theme just jumps out at you the most, the one that really anchors it all?
For me, it has to be that central clash, justice versus revenge. Dumas doesn't just put them side by side. He forces you to question if you can actually get real justice through this kind of calculated long-game vengeance.
Or does the quest itself warp you?
Exactly. Does it end up consuming the person seeking revenge more than it brings any kind of peace? Dumas hints, subtly I think, that even though Dantès reclaims his power, the whole process, the meticulous planning and execution of revenge, well, the psychological toll it takes, that might be its own kind of prison.
That's powerful. The idea that the revenge itself becomes a cage.
It's not just about what he does to them, but what the whole thing does to him.
Wow. Okay. Aside from that central conflict, what other major themes does Dumas weave in so masterfully?
Well, there's betrayal, obviously. That's the catalyst, isn't it? The story just slams home the devastating impact betrayal has, how it ripples outwards through lives and relationships.
It poisons everything.
It really does. And then there's identity. I mean, Edmond Dantès literally dies, in a way, and the Count is born. He sheds one identity and painstakingly builds this entirely new persona.
Which makes you ask, who are we, really?
Right. Is our identity fixed? Or is it something we forge, something shaped by suffering, by our choices, by sheer force of will? It's a deep dive into that.
And it's not just Dantès who changes so drastically, is it?
Exactly. That's another key theme. Transformation. You see it in Dantès, yes, physically, intellectually, but you also see huge, often tragic changes in the people his actions touch.
Like his enemies.
Absolutely. Look at Fernand. His ambition leads him straight to ruin. Or Villefort, his whole life built on upholding the law, just crumbles under the weight of his own hypocrisy and secrets. Their transformations, their downfall, are just as central as Dantès' rise. It shows the ripple effect.
Like consequences.
The devastating consequences of injustice. And then finally, sort of hovering over everything, is forgiveness. It's complex, maybe even elusive in this story. After everything that's happened, all the suffering, all the retribution, the book kind of leaves you wondering, is forgiveness even possible? Is it necessary for healing?
Yeah, no easy answers there.
Definitely not.
So, beyond these huge themes, Dumas' actual writing style is just addictive. He keeps you absolutely hooked for, what, over 1,000 pages? How does he pull that off? It's like, I don't know, he figured out binge reading before Netflix even existed.
It really is like that. It's just sheer narrative horsepower. Dumas was a master craftsman when it came to building suspense.
Unbelievable pacing.
Right. Weaving these incredibly complex plots, so many threads, but somehow they always come together satisfyingly. And his detail...
Oh, the descriptions.
Yes. His skill in creating this rich, immersive world. It doesn't just paint a picture, it pulls you right in. You can almost smell the Parisian salons or feel the sea spray around the Chateau d'If.
You're there.
You really are. That vivid detail, plus the dialogue, it's sharp, it's compelling, it makes the whole thing so incredibly captivating. You're invested in every scene, every feeling. And remember, he wrote it serially.
Oh, right. Chapter by chapter releases.
Yeah, imagine waiting for the next installment each week. He had to end each part on a cliffhanger. No wonder Paris was gripped by it back then.
Okay, so let's bring it all together. What does all this mean for us now, reading it centuries later? Why is The Count of Monte Cristo still so popular?
I think it endures because those core lessons about human nature, about betrayal, yes, but also about the drive for justice, the possibility of transformation, the way our choices echo, they're just timeless. They speak to something fundamental in us.
They really do.
Its lasting impact, I believe, comes from how unflinchingly it looks at these basic human experiences. You know, trying to get back control after a devastating loss, the allure of power and revenge, and ultimately that search for some kind of peace, however elusive.
It definitely pushes you to think.
Constantly. It makes us examine our own sense of morality, you know? what would we do if faced with something like that?
Which brings us to maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on.
Mm-hmm.
This raises an important question, I think, building on everything we've discussed. Does true freedom, in the end, come from finally getting that vengeance, from settling every score? Or does it come from somewhere else, perhaps from letting go of that crushing weight of the past?